Hi everyone again. I'm sitting here like a lady in luxury surrounded by quilts, but I think this is a really good time for me once again to hand over Jean to do a trunk show with all of your quilts.
Exactly.
So over to you.
Okay, so this is one of a fond memory because I first started loving K-Facet fabrics. And there was a competition at one of the local shops here in Adelaide that asked for people to enter quilts that were only made with K-Facet fabrics. And this is the one I made. And I was lucky enough to win the prize, which was another pile of K-Facet fabric, which was great. So that was quite a few years ago, but we use it here all the time in the television room. Okay, we're going to go to the early quilts. This was one I entered for a quilt competition for the Australian quilt accuracy. It didn't get in, but I loved making it because it was applique and I love trapunto. So these are really bubbly things. I love hand stitching as well. So that was an entry. Didn't get in, but didn't matter. I made a fun thing, which was good fun. Then I tried to attempt some improv, which I think I entered it in the South Australian Quilt Guild show one year. It was kind of fun. I have to force myself to do improv because, you know, I'm sort of like precise. And this one was for the Modern Quilt Guild had a fabric challenge, and they supplied some of the fabric, and you had to make a quilt to use up those fabrics. That didn't get in either, but that doesn't matter. I loved making it. It was a new way of using colors that I didn't usually use. So this one was as a result of this is Ricky Timms. Ricky Timms came to Adelaide and gave a wonderful day talk. And he shared how he made this quilt. And he shared the pattern and the book and stuff. He was very generous. I thought, I've got to make it. And I was into trapunto then, so if you were to touch this, it's kind of, I think I put 3 layers of wadding. So it bounces. It's a bit thick. But I love it. It's really fun. Again, I learned something. I'd never made those sort of diagonals, so, you know, they worked really well. This one was another one. Just chuck on the floor because I'm going to put them all on my pool boys. Okay, this one again was for Australian Quilt Convention, and the idea, I forget what the idea was, but I entered it. And again, these were applied. I like applique and with piping and stuff, so that was kind of a fun exercise to do. And that was all
And these are all separate strips.
Yeah. And then I applied all the circles on top of it. Yeah, I'm kind of a bright colored person, but these circles are all made with the same fabric, but the way you cut it, you put them back together again and they change the pattern. So it's kind of fun. Yes, yeah. So I love the colors of that one. I wasn't a very good quilter then, so, you know, I'm better at it now, so I didn't do an awful lot. And this one was another, I think it was called the Lucky Book Quilt Club? It was on Instagram, and every month you got a different tutor to teach you something new. And she was teaching us 11-degree, whatever you want to call it. Wedges. Yep. And she taught you how to do it so it ends up a circle without being skew-whiff. And it was so easy and so good. These are Jane Sassaman fabrics. I love her stuff. It's beautiful. It's fun. And I forget who taught me this, or somebody online, but I love doing a circle, sort of quilting. You just keep going round and round and round. I don't use my Sweet 16 all that much. I use my walking foot. As long as it's not a huge quilt, I can do it. But if it's a huge quilt, I can't do it. Okay, now we're getting into what I'm doing lately. Oh, this one? Okay, so this one got an honourable mention I enter into the Australian modern quilt shows, which happen in Sydney. Yeah.
Used to happen in Sydney?
Yeah, and then in Kiama. The last time I was there was in Kiama. And this one, I love this one. It's really kind of fun. And it got an honourable mention, which was kind of fun, so that's nice. And then now we begin my journey into my friend, Caper Saxton's. This one doesn't matter. They're both the same. These are made with the oval Drunkard's Path templates and the circle Drunkard's Path templates that Jenny Haynes sells. And I fiddle it around and put them together and make up crazy patterns. And this one was the first time I got into QuiltCon. And this is the back, because I use the back, I use samples of what I'm making. If they don't match perfectly, I just put them on the back. But I always do a medallion type thing with log cabin, which makes it easy to measure to put the backings on.
And I noticed that you face most
Yes.
of your quilts rather than
If they're
bind
art
them.
quilts, I do. If they're art quilts, if they're not art quilts, then I will, or I'll match the background with the binding. I think, yeah, I've got one that's got the binding on it. Yep. So this was my first QuiltCon, 2019, which was nice. And then this year, 220. This one went into QuiltCon. It's called Marshmallow Fluff because in America we have pink marshmallow and white marshmallow. And I got into big hand quilting then, big stitch quilting. I just love this one. And it got in the small section at QuiltCon 2020, which was kind of cool. And it was part of, there's a thing that they have every year, the Pantone color of the year. And it was that color, I forget, what's that color? Oh, that's the back, because these were the leftovers from the front.
Coral.
That's it, it was coral, yeah. And they were the leftovers, so we used them for the backing. And so that year, okay, so this year, 2021, this one, the other one that got in 2020, I gave to my teacher, to the lady who's the template lady. I saw her last year at Hall's Gap, and I gave her my quilt, so I don't have it. This one got into QuiltCon this year, 2021. It's called, I think it goes like this. And I forget what it's called. I know I gave it a name. Balancing act, that's right. And I love machine quilting with next to the hand quilting, and I love stripes. I love stripes and the asymmetry that you can get by putting them against each other. And again, this was a sample of one of the things that I was trying out, but I didn't like it so much, so I thought, no, we're not going to use it, but we'll use it as a back. And Jenny does teach you how to do the binding with a mitered corner.
That's
So,
so neat and
It is,
flat.
it's beautiful, and when I saw one of her quilts, I thought I've got to learn how to do that, so she's got that on her website. This one was in QuiltCon this year as well, and I love this one. It's called And Then There Were Three, because you can almost see a little person with the two twins there. And I wanted to play with the quarter square log cabin, and quarter square log cabin incorporated in the quarter square Drunkard's Path, which works kind of well.
And another interesting back.
Oh, and this is the back. This is more practicing of with her templates that you can play with all the courses that I've done with her. I've got the templates to do some of these things, the cogwheels and stuff. She still has the classes online. So they were samples again. This one I think I talked about, but this is the one that got into the Schweinfurth art. A quilt equals arts equals quilt. This will be fine. And again, it's a Drunkard's Path. And I entered it, and it was kind of like nice to have got in. And Brenda Gale Smith was in that one. I was on the same wall as her, so how was that? That's kind of
show
cool.
the back because it's
Oh,
got
yes.
a story, doesn't it?
Oh, yes. This one is, I don't know if you've ever seen, this lady is Malka Dabrowski, and she's in Austin, Texas. But she has this way of, instead of courtyard steps, she puts a half square triangle in the corner, which smooths that join together. It's a bit fiddly, but I love it.
You have to tell us why halfway through you changed.
I got sick of it. It was, well, it's fiddly because you got to put a half square triangle, half square, and so, I thought, right, we're getting bigger, no more, time to finish this, because you spend more time on the backs than you do on the front sometimes, which is kind of terrible. Now, I'm going backwards here. We'll stay on the moderns and I'll show you some of the old. This one was one before Marshmallow Fluff, and this one's called Just You and Me. I just love this shape. I love this shape that can happen when you use the Drunkard's Path thingy. And again, hand quilting, machine quilting, and
an interesting back.
an interesting back again. Another log cabin. So I keep playing with curves and her templates. This is one that I did, and I think it's good, but it's now become the back because this is the front. This was going to be the back. But I just love that. That's really pretty too. So I thought, well, that's probably better than the front. So we can use it both ways. Be kind of cool. Again, Drunkard's Path, but double cut. More Drunkard's Path. I'm going to get sick of this in a minute, but we're almost there. This one's kind of a fun one. I entered it in something, but it didn't get in. But I still love it. I still love the shapes. I love the quilting, the machine and the hand quilting. And that's the back. And those are examples of practicing something I was doing. So the back is there. And what's this one? Oh, this was a play with it, just because I love, complementary colors on a wheel can kind of be exciting. But there's a lady called Jackie Gehring who has a book that's called Walk, and it's to do with using your presser foot on your machine to create designs. As long as you measure them out and stuff, it works. And I measured this out and it actually worked. I was so excited to do that quilting on there. It's kind of a bit hard on the eyes, but I love it. The back is kind of fun. Yeah, I wasn't good at these things, so I thought I better practice those things, so I put them in there. I just can't find fabric to make the back, so I thought, nah, we're not going to. We're going to make them ourselves. This is another one, same again. Colors I'm not happy with. I like this one, but this one kind of worries me, that color, so it kind of didn't do a thing. But the back's kind of fun, isn't it? Oh, there's the oval again. I like oval. I must be an egg person or something. And again, some more, only the same ovals. Oval shape. I've put them on the diagonal, which makes it kind of an exciting, thingy. But it looks very traditional, doesn't it?
Traditional.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the back.
The back's kind of fun too, huh? Yeah. All practicing, because I practice and I'm not happy enough to use that as a back. This was another example of the small templates using circles, but also a bit of trapunto, because there's a bit of, fatness here, more dense quilting here. Yeah, that worked kind of fun. That one's plain background.
See the quilting on the back.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then this one, oh yeah, the back's nice too. But this one was a Pantone color one year. It was the blue. I think this was the Pantone color. And I love foundation paper piecing, so I figured out a way of making this and making it an unusual design. But the back is fun too. I love the colors at the back. I did that on purpose to see if I could do anything with this centerpiece. But I didn't do the Malka Dabrowski thing. I just did the courtyard step, I guess. Yeah, that's what it is. And this one was a scrap user upper. I thought I'd try to, and it's all foundation paper piece, this one. Makes for precision, isn't it? And I kind of like the square quilting on that, which was kind of fun. Oh, and the back was that was an experiment as well, and if you look really closely, some of these points don't match and they're not the same thickness, so I thought, right, at the back you go. So there they are.
I think there were quilt police here in South
Australia.
Australia.
Oh, and I'm just going backwards for one more minute. This was one of my earlier pieces, and I used paint sticks. So if anybody uses paint sticks with stencils, they can do some very interesting marks on their fabric, and it's paint, and if you iron it and dry it, with an iron, they've set, and it was, there's a lady that told me what her name was. I did a workshop with her at Adelaide AQC, and she used to go overseas and rub the things in the ground.
Oh,
like you do grave rubbing? She would do it.
Walton?
No, it's not Lisa Walton, it's, I can't remember her name, but she's a lovely lady. And I love an artist called Huntavasa, and he loves spirals and stuff, so I spiraled and embroidered on it and did some raindrops, and he often puts these beautiful, what do they call those beautiful? He just loves this kind of oniony type shape on top of buildings, so that was the inspiration. And that one got into Dare to Differ, I think. Yes, it did. And then this one was, I think I got second prize with this one with the South Australian Quilt Guild. And that was in the modern section. And this was some fabric that I got at the op shop. And I decided I was going to use them in half square triangles. Then I had my own fabric to go with it. But I love the quilting on this. I'm really a straight quilter. Diagonals and straight ones. But I think I worked out really well. I got a second prize that year, I think. It was at the Morfettville racecourse,
Yes.
I think. Yeah, I can remember that one.
Jean, all of your quilts have got a beautiful softness to them. And when we were at the modern group, you said that you like Quilter's Dream.
Yes, and it was
cotton.
request. It was request, because I sent a picture to Pip so she could pass it on, because I couldn't remember. There is a select and there's a request. The request is the middle, is the middle thickness.
And I believe that some of our quilt shops here sell it.
Well, yeah, I think so, huh? And this one was also at Theatre Differ. I can tell because they have at the Marion show, they make you put those little clips on. This was inspired by a photograph, so I just used the geometrics of the photographs and created that, which was kind of fun. It's an interesting way to get an idea, I guess, huh? And Lucky Last, this one one of my favorites. This is a quarter square.
I love this one.
Log cabin, at an angle, huh? So they're at an angle, and all I did was I cut this the shape that I wanted, and then I did a quarter square log cabin around it, and then I flipped them and flipped them and flipped them. And this one got into Mancuso as well. 1 year through Brenda Gale Smith, and I love the back. The back is fun too. And again, this is a quarter square because it goes all the way out. I love the asymmetry of a quarter square log cabin. And that one was away for well, it didn't win anything, but it did get in, which was great. And then my lucky last, I'll show you this one. This is my latest. There's going to be a competition about hexes for QuiltCon this year, and this is my confetti hexie, which was fun to do. Which was, and it is definitely improv. So I'm getting better. I'm getting better to do the improv. And I guess that's it. I do have lots of little ones that I do to practice, but they're just in the cupboard. Like I wanted to practice bias making, so I made. And I like them. I don't know if you have a bias maker, but they're fun to make. And so I wove some of that and put it all together, which was kind of fun. These two were supposedly to go for that curated quilt competition. They didn't get in, but I still love them. I think they're really fun. And they choose the color scheme, so it makes you sew with colors that you wouldn't normally sew, This one was their triangle one, and those were the colors that they wanted. And I had done a class of asymmetrical triangle making with Maria Schell, the Tales of a Stitcher. It didn't get in, but it was a way of using up those triangles. This one was one of the triangles that I didn't get in, but it was fun small, you can quilt them fun, and you don't have to have giant things to wreck your shoulders. And this one, I don't know why I made this one, but I love it. Again, it's the log cabin. I think it was just tiny half square triangles, I think. That's why I made it, and then I just put colors around it. And then this one was one of those, as I said, the Lucky Book Club thing. Sarah Filkey this is a normal pattern, but she separates the pieces. So it has like, I don't know what you want to call it. They have shapes around them because you've moved them apart from sewing them together, which is a nice technique. I'd never done that before. So those are my practice pieces. They're really, really fun. And I design my things on a thing called Touch Draw, and I take pictures of them eventually. And I also
Touch Draw on your iPad.
On my iPad, yep. And then I put the text, the possible quilting lines on with a thing called Adobe Illustrator, but it's a very simple one on the iPad, and then you can kind of see if the lines will work on it or not, and then you can erase it and start again. So that's what I do. I take a picture of the design that I got, and then I sew it. Then I try firstly the quilting whether it'll work or not. That's the one I gave away, which my friend has. That again, I did it so I made sure that I had. I'll just show you the one that's going to. This one's going to Houston, and I wanted to test it. Oh, but I don't have the lines on it. But I can show you a picture of it afterwards. That's the latest one that I did on a workshop that I did not long ago, and that's one that's to be quilted. I've sewn it, but I haven't quilted it yet. Well, that's kind of me on a plate. I'm just kind of turned into a curve, huh?
Jean, it has been delightful.
Oh,
We're
good.
as equally delighted today as we were at the Modern Quilt
Oh,
Group.
good.
So thank you for
You're
sharing
welcome.
your quilts.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you
welcome.
for sharing your home with us.
Oh, that's not a problem.
It's just been fabulous. And
Good.
This video will come up for show next month.
Okay.
We'll do an article in iPatch so people will get to know, and you're
Cool.
not hiding your light under a bush anymore.
Blatant, very blatant.
Thank you everyone for sharing today's
Ta-da.
video.
See ya.